we're subtracting a fraction from a whole number. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. The way I showed block 1 was to change this 4 into an improper fraction. And that ended up taking a little bit longer than I anticipated, and I think they got a little confused. So I'm going to show you another way, okay? We're going to do this like 2 separate problems to start with. So let's look at the fraction first. Oh, wait a minute. For 1 through 4, I think we can just do them because it's half. And those are easy. So what's 4 minus a half? 3 and a half. Write that down. Make sure you're on side A. 3 minus a half.
2 and a half.
2 and a half. 2 minus a half.
1 and a half.
And 1 minus a half.
1 half.
1 half. Okay? So now, here's what I want you to look at. When I'm not dealing with halves, then it's going to get a little trickier. And if you look over here, we're dealing with 7s and 8s and all kinds of things mixed up. So I want you to think of this fraction right here. I want you to think of 3/3 as the whole minus 1/3. And go ahead and write that down for right now. Just write it down. Okay? And Emmett already said the answer is 2/3 because 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay? Now, this whole number right here, we need to look at. It's like I'm starting out with 1 whole and then subtracting 1/3. So I know I don't have any whole numbers left. Okay? Let's look at the next one. This would be 3/3 minus 1/3. Now I'm thinking 2 separate problems here. So 3/3 minus 1/3 is what?
2/3.
And then I'm going to have to subtract this whole number. How much will I subtract from it? What do you think?
1.
1. So that would give me 1. Let me draw you a picture of the next one. Okay, this next one's a good one to draw a picture of so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so 4 minus 1/3. Remember back when you were about, what, I don't know, 5 or 6? And you were first starting to do takeaway. Do you remember that? You might not, but you used a lot of blocks back then. And the teacher would say, okay, 4 take away 1. And you would take one of those blocks and move it over to the side, right? Okay, well, your 5th grade teacher is saying 4 take away 1/3. And so, I am subtracting about 1/3.
That's 1 half.
Well, it's supposed to be 1/3.
Well, it's fine.
Okay, there you go, causing me trouble on my video.
Sorry.
So how many holes do I have left?
3.
3. It's always going to be 1 less than the number I start with if I'm taking away a fraction of a number. Does that help a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, so my whole will be 3, right?
Yes.
When I subtract this fraction, I'm going to subtract it from 3/3. Whoops. So I've got 3 and 2/3. Are you writing these down? I hope so. So 4, we're going to subtract a fraction from 4, so we'll have 3 holes left. And I'm going to think about 3/3 minus 2/3. What's my answer?
1/3.
1/3. Okay, now right now give me a fist of 5 so I know kind of what we're talking about. 4, any 4s? Okay, let's keep going. You guys are really bright. So I'm starting out with 2 holes, subtracting. So how many holes do I have left? Okay, 2/3, 3/3, minus 2/3. 1/3 left. You want to start trying to do some of these in our head? Well, how am I getting the 3/3 here?
Because it's your denominator.
It's my denominator. So here I won't have 3/3. What will I have? 4/4 minus 1/4. Now remember, I'm starting out with 2 blocks and I'm only taking off a 4th. So I'll have 1 left and 3/4. Now this 4/4 right here is optional. As soon as you can figure out how to do this in your head, you don't have to write it anymore. So if you've already figured out how to do it in your head, you will think to yourself, okay, my whole number is 1. Okay, 4/4 minus 3/4, my answer is 1/4.
Miss Lewis, I have a strategy.
What's your strategy?
So like, you do like on the fraction, like on 22 it says 3 minus 3/5. There, if you put 3 into 5, there's 2 left. So
You're
you
right.
like, 2
You
I have
could just subtract
I
here.
have another one.
Let's take a look at the next one. What's your strategy?
I just I take away like 1 from the like the big like the
Whole number, I know.
and then I see how many like in the 22 you just 2 more to get to
Okay, I
to
agree.
get to 1 whole. So
Right,
I put 2/5
you're right.
or it would be
So let's use Carson's strategy on this one. He subtracted 1 from the whole number. How many more does he need to get to 4/4?
1.
1. So that's his answer. Okay, if that helps you. Emmett was doing 4 minus 3. That's what he was doing. Okay, either way works. I was doing 4 minus 3 in my head when I wrote the fractions out. Okay,